Atochin chitab Kalenjin en ketesiet noton neichome nebo Kass TV kakituye twan en tetutiet noton nebo Kass Mashinani netokong'eten nguni kotor koit kiwangon twan en kibagenge. Amoe ketounen county noton nebo Kericho ole tesetai igorto noton nebo lumdaetab kokoitoetab scholarship chebo somanetab muswoknotet noton nebo TVET nebo kampunitab Brown Investment Limited en legutab Finlays Community Trust ole kanyor kelchin neran chesire 40 kobun counties cheboto Kericho ak Bomet nebo kosoman en sukulit noton nebo Belgu TTI ak noton nebo Konoin TTI. Ingenyorun luwek choton en oret noton nebo agenge en agenge ole miten kabarastoindenyon Robert Siele kobaten amache kenyorun oleu en inguni kokoitoet noton nebo scholarship koityi kipsomaninik.
Sigik wasasi makokas changes ichon komwoe chechang nia bakot kakile nekisi kialdewech chuton so chobotin wal kikondowech James Finlays en 2010 kwaldewech mbaret nekikialdechi cooperatives angikuren Kipsigis Islands oin kongoit Browns kile Browns al 85% lakini ichunten kiten ikoi community akwal kobun Kipsigis Highlands cooperative makinemie noto matokasene sigik ne ngalechote amache okas kokwet amun kokasis ole okot nguno nanyi oin kokengei makele okot ingoni kibore Lipton akile ko kwalda akine kora lakini kakile ikochin kitikin community kochobot walo makile kakiale ng'ung'unyek lakini kakiale biashara asin tot iale biashara or kekonin title koboto ng'ung'unyek ko kimakinenyi mising kimakinenyi iteb akibore ile ng'ung'unyatan moe ng'ung'unyat kakile kialdo biashara kokong'eten 1963 mami chi nekikwane tondet amakikoi rabinik chekibo boisietab biashara. That just putting it to encourage our parents and everybody else to get ready in changes ichukait chechang kabisa ako chungutu makiripke kong'oi kasit ungeripke kabisa okochobo kaan kakikuyeke sigik kochobokene makokas kokemwa kwek chobokene chekemuch koememuchi bakara kobat ine kongoi mising. I would like therefore to take the opportunity back to Wana Kirui, who is our general manager and also our secretary, and wish the very best to these pioneering students, the 20 in Konoin and the 20 in Belgut. Asante sana. Thank you.
Asante sana, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Makofi kwake. Thank you. Asante sana. We are almost there. Wanafunzi, barua inatengenezwa. Tunaiweka kwa bahasha. In a few minutes you will be receiving it. It is now my pleasure to invite the county director, executive regional director of Tibet, Peter Cheriot, to come and make his remarks. Bwana Cheriot takes care of Kericho County, Bomet County. I don't know, it's part of Narok, and we have been working with him. He has been supportive in our boards because he represents the PS in our boards. It's been very useful person. Asante sana. So our chief guest, we are happy to have him in the board wherever is possible. Asante. Karibu Cheriot.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kirui, MD James Finlay. The chief guest today, Sibora Meso, the Deputy Director in charge of Tibet, MD Mr. Simon Atkinson, James Finlay Trust trustees, board chairs of the Tibet institutions, board members present, principals, trainers, parents and trainees. Good morning. I want to take this opportunity firstly to appreciate this occasion where we are launching today the award of scholarship by James Finlay Trust. This is a great occasion because it tells us that the partners who are working in our region remembers us as community. We thank you so much, Community Trust of James Findlay, and also Brown Foundation for doing this to our children. James Findlay and Brown Foundation is a great partner to our communities and especially to Tibet institution, because this is the first employer or the majority employer of all the graduates of Tibet institutions. Close to 80% of Tibet graduates are employed by tea plantation companies, Lipton, James Findlay, Brown's Tea Plantation. They also offer us with internship opportunities and also attachment opportunities to our trainees who are ongoing in the training. We really appreciate you. Apart from that, they also offer us with a provision of opportunity to train our trainees in a program what called dual training program. In dual training is a kind of training where 50% of training happens in the institution and 50% happens in the industry. So we take our trainees to these industries, and we also hope that going into the future, Brown Foundation is going to receive our trainees or send their experts to come and train our students in the institution. This is a future of training in Kenya, and we are embracing it as Tibet institution. James Foundation and also Brown Plantation is also a good source of occupational standards which we need when we are developing the curriculum. Before we develop our curriculum, we refer to the industry and we refer to the tea plantation, the factories in the tea plantation, to get the standards which are there in operations, so that we are able to use it to implement our curriculum and also review it and change our curriculum to suit the industry. So we appreciate you, our partner. Today, we are celebrating a good gesture of generosity that James Findlay has shown to us in provision of this scholarship to the needy students. As GM Mr. Kiruya said, that selection process of these beneficiaries has gone through a rigorous process, including participation of the DCCs, village managers, pastors, and even the parents in selecting the needy students. So we really applaud you for this selection process. We are now aware that the students who we are going to train are the needy students who also institution need to take care. Now we call upon the parents that you visit your child while in school. Don't leave it to James Findlay Foundation to carry out all responsibility of education. You are expected to monitor performance. You are expected to visit them where they are staying. And actually you're supposed to take care of their accommodation, if I'm not wrong. And therefore,
Noton ko igorta nebo kokoitoet noton nebo scholarship nekokon kampunit noton nebo Brown Investment kobun legut noton nebo Safari kobun legut noton nebo James Finlay Community Trust asikomuch koit toretet kipsomaninik chemoche kosoman en sukulit noton nebo Belgu TTI ak noton nebo Konoin TTI. Yekistoenge noton amoche kebe anan kekusyin gong sautik choton chetestai en betutab raini nekaimuch kondochi President William Ruto kaimuch koboisien boroindo noton kwaror inendet kotiengei ak rutoito noton nebo ndegeit nekiboisien koityi emet noton nebo Marekani nekimiten ng'alalet kele imuch iboisien chong'indab chepkondok chete silingisiek million 200 kobaten kamwa kole noton koma iman. Ngenyor noton kobo sautik natestai en saisiekab karon en betutab raini.
Speaker, this morning, former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, and we thank you very much. Guests from different parts of the world, from East Africa, our friends from Uganda, our friends from Tanzania, our friends from the United States, United Kingdom, and all the other countries that are here, fellow Kenyans, hamjambo. God is good, and all the time. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. It is true that I have been summoned by the men conference. And I will go and answer. But let me say this, that I am truly delighted to join you at this opportune event as we rally the people of Kenya to unite in prayer and supplication before God. Our nation is founded on the recognition of the Almighty God of all creation, and it is in our Constitution, and sustained by the devotion to God and hope in His deliverance. Our faith as a people is intentional and indelibly inscribed in the fundamental instruments of our nationhood. If you read our first chapter of our Constitution, that's what it says. At this annual gathering, we are reminded of the basic fact that without prayer and the acknowledgement of God, our Creator, we are utterly without any hope. Proverbs 29:18 reminds us that without vision, the people perish. Pastor Mitri Raheb from Palestine says, hope does not wait for vision to appear. Hope is vision in action today. And I think our speaker has gone to lengths to explain to us and to speak to us about it. Therefore, the vision that keeps a nation together as it marches forward is the fruit of hope, a hope that is anchored on the unrelenting faith in God. We are told in Hebrews 11 that faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of things that we do not see. Similarly, the words of Isaiah, that those who hope in the Lord, he will renew their strength, that they will run and not grow weary, walk and not faint. This rings so true when we reflect on our journey and the journey we have traveled as a country over the last 60 years. We've had our challenges, but because of our faith in God and because we have believed, today we stand tall as a nation in our region and as a nation in our continent. My deputy has explained where we were a few months ago. We had a big drought that decimated close to 2.5 million heads of livestock. For the first time, we were tracking water for wildlife. We went to Nyayo Stadium and prayed. And God gave us rains. Today, we have enough food in Kenya. It is amazing what God can do. Sometimes we may want to believe that maybe we did something. And maybe surely we did. Maybe we made fertilizer available. Maybe we made seeds available. Maybe we supported farmers. But that would have come to nothing if God had not given us rain. We have traveled as a nation. And I'm very proud today that the Kenya that many people thought and believed that we were going to have a debt default. Today, we are in a different trajectory. And it is because we trust in God. Hope has always been the light that has shone brightest in our darkest of times, a beacon that has always guided us through the storms of life and the challenges of a nation. Every time we have been tested as a nation, we may have at times wobbled or even tripled, but we did not fall. We have always emerged stronger and more united. When our forefathers and mothers rose against our colonial masters and fought for independence of our great country, it was in the hope that their resistance would yield a better tomorrow, a tomorrow where their children would walk free from the debilitating bondage of poverty, discrimination, disease, and ignorance, as we were told by our forefathers. Without a doubt, we have covered significant ground in tackling the challenges that continue to face our country. But there is also no doubt that we still have a long road ahead to travel. At this prayer breakfast last year, I reminded you of the need to be thankful and to pray for our nation, given how far we had come and the numerous challenges we had to contend with. A few weeks ago, as you all know, we went through another storm of floods, and we lost 200 people in Kenya. We have also had to relocate already 27,000 people from riparian reserves. We have spent close to 300 million shillings to make sure that these people who have been relocated have alternative places to stay. We still have another 13,000 that we are processing so that we can relocate them. And because we have been told that there will be above normal rains in Kenya for the next 7 years, we have to be careful so that we don't again put Kenyans in danger. And that is why, as a government, we have said we will relocate Kenyans who live in fragile ecosystems along riparian reserves, because we cannot afford to lose any life anymore. Let me also say we are still managing national debt and recovering our economy. It's true that all of us who have the privilege to be leaders in Kenya, majority of the people in this prayer breakfast, from MCAs to members of parliament, to governors, senators, ministers who are here, principal secretaries who are here, my deputy and myself, we are privileged to be leaders in Kenya at this time. And it is true that we understand, all of us, what the challenges are and what we need to do. I ask all of us to have the courage to do the right thing, however difficult it is. It is the only way we can pull our country and take our country into the future. We have, by the grace of God, now have reduced the price of food commodities. We are, however, yet to solve the problem of unemployment. We must continuously work together. I want to ask members of parliament who are here. We have set our target on the digital space to create jobs. I was in Ruiru, in Simon Kingara's constituency, when we launched an ICT hub there that is hiring 5,000 Kenyans. I was very proud to see them at work. Every member of parliament seated here, and those who are not here, have an opportunity to replicate that in every constituency in Kenya. That is why we changed the law on CDF, so that you can have an opportunity to set up an ICT hub. And one of the big announcements that was made in my trip in America is an investment by Microsoft, an American company, G42, a UAE company, EcoCloud of Kenya, and the government of Kenya, on the first ever data center that will use renewable energy. And it is an investment of $1 billion. And it is going to help us build the ecosystem to support the digital journey that we are engaged in as a nation. And you, as members of parliament, have an opportunity to be part of that momentum by setting up ICT hubs in every ward in the Republic of Kenya. I am very confident that working together in that manner and without minding whether this constituency belongs to a member of parliament who is in government or in the opposition, we are all one nation. Our target is to make sure that every child in Kenya has an opportunity, because we want to enhance the number of people who have incomes. We also managed to negotiate additional investments under the AGOA agreement. I got a confirmation from the American government that they are going to renew the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act that today gives us close to 50,000 jobs here in Athi River, and now we have another 6 special economic zones set up in Kenya, and more American companies are going to set up camp in our nation because of the agreements we have put in place to create more jobs. We must continuously, deliberately, intentionally find opportunities for employment for the people of Kenya, the young people of Kenya. I also had occasion to meet many Kenyans in diaspora. In fact, it was a very interesting meeting in Atlanta. There was close to 1,500 Kenyans in one meeting. And it was amazing to see a meeting as big as this one in Atlanta of Kenyans. And it is because I also believe we have opportunity for creating more opportunities for employment for Kenyans in the diaspora. And that is why Bore here and Madime are engaged, and Roslyn Njogu are working on 19 bilateral labor agreements. We just completed one with Germany so that we can create pathways for employment of the people of Kenya in different parts of the world, because we have one of the best human resource capital anywhere in the world. Therefore, despite all the challenges, I believe strongly that every generation is called upon to rise up and tackle the challenges of their time. We must rise up as the leaders of today to deal with the challenges that affect our nation. I believe that this is exactly why we were elected to office about 2 years ago, with hope, patriotism, love for country, and love for one another, working hard with determination and prayer. I believe that we are up to the task of confronting some of our most urgent challenges. As we remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., who I had an opportunity to visit his mausoleum, who said that everything that is done in the world can nurture hope by protecting the environment, alleviating the effects of climate change, and preserving our rich national resources. In conclusion, let us embrace one another as a nation united by hope, laboring collectively in hope, and working together towards hope. Let us build a Kenya of opportunity for everyone, a land of prosperity where everyone can live and thrive in dignity, and where our hopes and dreams fulfillment through work and faith. You all know what our national anthem says. And because we are going through a budget process, and because we have stabilized our economy, we're going to now focus on how to create jobs, making sure that the road network that has been beaten by the floods many roads that had stalled, that we're going to put more resources in making sure that we repair and we rebuild and we complete the roads that are awaiting. I'm very surprised and pleased, pleasantly surprised, let me put it. When I called heads of parastatals, chairmen and CEOs, and I explained to them the situation where we are, and I told them, look, each and every one of you need to go back and reduce your budgets, especially the budgets of recurrent expenditure, by 30%. I was pleasantly surprised that each and every parastatal was willing to contribute to making sure that we live within our means. And each one of them went back and they have submitted their reports and they have actually reduced their recurrent budgets by 30%. And that is even the reason why even my office and that of my deputy and that of my prime cabinet secretary have said, we are going to start with ourselves. We must lead from the front, tighten up our belts, invest in the places that will make sure that we create broader prosperity. Invest in making sure our dairy is working. Our flowers are working. Our coffee and tea are working. The places that create opportunity for the majority of Kenyans are working. And I promise you that as a steward that I have the privilege to be, we will act responsibly and we will manage the affairs of the country with integrity and with selflessness so that we can build a nation of hope, that people, that their government cares. Let me say this, or let me disclose. You know, when I saw the debate in Kenya as to how I traveled to the US, you know, and there was, you know, all manner of figures, you know, this plane is this big and it is like this, Google here, Google there. This one must have costed 200 million because the president needed to arrive in style in the US, holding Rachel's hand. You know, I am a responsible steward. Believe you me. There is no way I can spend 200 million. There is no way. In fact, let me disclose here that it costed the Republic of Kenya less than 10 million. Because, let me tell you, I am not a madman. When I was told the cheapest plane was 70 million, I told my office, go book Kenya Airways. Yeah. So when some friends of mine heard that I was going to travel Kenya Airways, and we have built a big reputation as a country. We have built friends. Some friends told me, how much do you want to pay? I said, I'm not ready to pay more than 20 million. They said, bring 10 million, we will give you the plane. Look at me, Kenyans. Look at me again. I must lead from the front as I tell others. As I tell others to tighten up their belt, mine must be where to begin. So relax, you know, and the debate must end because I am that responsible. And it is going to be that way. We're going to make sure that we tighten up our belts, we live within our means. In fact, my plan, in 3 years, we must have a balanced budget. We cannot continue to have a budget that has a deficit. That before you borrow. I have a person in the leadership of Professor Ndungu and all the others, that's where we are going. And I'm very proud of the support I get from my economic team, led by Professor Ndi and all the other people there. They're doing a good job. Now, in conclusion, in our national anthem, we pray that we shall flourish in a land of plenty. That is the Kenya we all want. That's the Kenya we all aspire for. I want to thank you very much for coming for this prayer breakfast. You are the best country that I know. And if I had another chance to be born, I would want to be born Kenyan.
Noton ko ngalalet noton ngatestai en igorta noton nebo sautik kakiyai en betutab raini kiyoe en kila kenyit asikomuch keyosochi emetab Kenya ak bandab tai noton nebo emet. Chekimande en Nairobi chitab Kalenjin kebendi county nebo Uasin Gishu. Ultestai igorta nebo yatetab kapkirwok nebo Alternative Justice System en komosta nebo Moiben indochin igoratan CJ anan Chief Justice Martha Koome komiten kora en nguni komosatan kandoik cheterterchin ako miten kora commissioner noton Isaac Ruto nekigovernan tai kora nebo county nebo Bomet akomache sikenyoru ng'ala noton neibuech kabarastoindenyon Isaac Kogei. Isaac Kogei kotinyorwon kotos ne kit neimuch imwoe kotinygei ak igoratan tesetai en komosta nebo Moiben akoi nguni.
Kongoi mising Shadrack Mutai imi studio noton nebo Kass TV kimite en komosta noton nebo Moiben ole eng betutab rani ko kakiyat ofisit anan kakiyat kapkirwok noton nemingin anan Alternative Justice noton ko court noton kitorete meng'ik choton chebo komosta nebo Uasin Gishu eng komosta nebo Moiben. Kimite koboto commissioner noton nebo agenge commissioners ako ki governor nebo county nebo Bomet eng tai inendet Isaac Ruto asikobit iarorwech kityo eng nwokindo kingen kele mito no nekakonyo eng betutab rani ako mi eng kibagenge eng yatet ofisit noton nelel anan kapkirwok noton nemingin eng komosta nebo Moiben. Imaanisha ne kakiyat kapkirwok nemingin eng kokwatunwek cheuchu.
Kimache kewekyi kongoi kora county nebo Uasin Gishu amu county netai kotech kot akolenjech kobwa kotini koboisie sikorikyi raia haki. Kimache services chebo kotini kobwa karibu elemi wananchi. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru hiyo. Kimache kinekuren alternative justice system ko alternative justice system ko kusich chito haki en or age tugul. Ma lazima keba kotini. Kimuch keng'alal, kimuch kelyan, mucho.
National anthem ngomasen ko governor former governor ko eng ibarune yatetab kapkirwok neuni eng komase kesisiek korcho chetos kekas eng komase.
Kimache biikab komase chebo Uasin Gishu komase ko kobwa yuto ketorchi ng'alekchwak eng yenekit. Yokitinye uwezo kemache kila sub county kotindoi kotini. Example nekararan nekakobor Uasin Gishu amun akot katiba komwoe kole konyolu konekitit yekenyorchin haki. Devolution koitu kotin.
Kirwagutik ngorcho chekekase eng yu? Tos kirwagutik chekatap kekase eng Eldoret ko tos kekase eng yu kora?
Kotini chu ko cheyoe akoi magistrate, chief magistrate ko chekiyoe en ireu. Lakini high court kotebye komi Eldoret.
Maybe nebo let kityo ko kimi kurset eng biik chotok chendoi kesisiek cheechen ak chemengechen chemuch ketar eng kokwatinwek. Ko tos boroindo tos kiboisie asikobit kiwong kesisiek kou chotok eng komoswek.
Ya, yuto kora kekosen kesisiek kinyokineti biik ele kiyoitoi kesisiek kipkaa. Amu kimoche ketar tuguk alak kipkaa. Ngotiyo families kobane kwalda mbaret ipkotiye amu ngotare ko nusu mbaret kikwo.
Imwochin ine biikab kokwatinwek mising ko chebo Moiben kakonyor kapkirwok neming'in eng komas.
Amache kit notinye shida, amache otatuan eng yu ak nyokas oretinwek chempya chekiboisien asiketatuan kesit. Malasima keba oret neui. Neon kikenaite akenai chitugul kole imanit kisich chito imanit ko malasima iwe before judge anan before magistrate. Imuchi inyoru haki neng'ung kokakiyoiwok mapatanisho kikuren ADR, alternative dispute resolution mechanism. Malasima ilipan okilisiek obwa ak inyomwa akonai ole rahisi noto.
Nekit kakochapchapit komasta nebo North Rift eng yatetab kapkirwok chotok chemengechen. Tos imwochin ine ndemukoksei komasta noto nebo South Rift tos somet noto nebo keyat ofisit kobunu ng'o nguno? Tos bunu kikoito somet kwa kapkirwok anan ikoito somet ng'o? Tos governor anan kandoik chotok chebo county?
Nguno king'ololjindosi ak governors ak MPs nekachepchepit ko soso. Kikokonech kora iten kot nepkeyoe. Kwa hivyo iten kora ko kikokon. Number 2 Uasin Gishu kokonech. Nga tomo keyat nebo iten. Lakini kikekonech en Elgeyo Marakwet, kakekonech en Uasin Gishu. Kimache keleng sub counties chebo Nandi, chebo Kericho ak chebo Kenya komugul. Kokonech space. Amu makitinye rabinik kotini ketech kotini en olin tugul. Lakini makyingei raia imanit. Makyingei raia services chebo kotini. Hasa ng'alekab mbarenik succession kemoche koik rahisi sikowesan biik koboisien mbarenikwak kikamilifu. Kimache kinet biik chekonai kole nyolu kobese rabinik koboisien titles kobese rabinik sikoyai biashara. Amache anet ole kotko mobese rabinik otebi ak bananda kenyisiek chechang. Motokengei ole ngebese rabinik kenyokealdo mbaret. Kialdo mbaret amun imi chinga. Ibibeseni rabinik ak iikesei bonda nebo somok. Wacha hiyo ujinga. Bese rabinik ak iyai biashara.
Koi boroindo noto nekeib asikobit ing'ololchi biik chotok chekere Kass TV eng kasari ko kingen kele igorta neo mising neindochin Chief Justice Martha Koome ako imi among the commissioners chotok chekobwa eng kibagenge asikobit kokochi tiet ak kokochi oborchi chomyet kora ku kandoik chotok chebo komosta nebo Rift Valley. Ko mangen tos ng'olyo nebo let kityo tos mwochi biikab emet eng kasari ak kandoik kora amu kingen kele sai kochang kandoik chotok chomuch wirtoi ng'alek kobun komoswek chotok cheterter. Mi kapkirwok much kokas ng'alechu ako much kerat chito. Nune ng'alechu.
Ya amache amwochi hasa kandoik ak biik tugul. Kenya ko emet ne agenge. Amakepcheoksei kibiik che agenge. Kimache kemete ng'alekab kabila ak keng'alale ng'alekab issues. Ne ng'alekab maendeleo chekokinde meset chekororon. Kimache kisub choto. Ak amache asom ale mokalgei ak kandoik alak matoretech. Kaui ine otebi ko ak otatuan matatizo. Matoibwech raia ng'alek chekatotore kandoik. Ngowirgei ak ng'alek koyoitu ground. Yokitu biik. Akonam kochukionjigei bure amun mi supporters chebo age tugul. So kemoche kesom waendeleze. Kararan inguni maendeleo panganutik chekokoyai president. Kororon kabisa. Now, ngotoibu siaset nenyokoburbureni tuguchu kakepanganwech kororon kositun keyai auchoto. Kimache kofaule program nako kokon president
Missing ngatiak te naso kabidi tu ya kandoik chotok chemite eng yun ko notok ko former governor notok county notok nagba Bomet Isaac Ruto ne kwagenge eng commissioners chotok chebo kapkirwok ako betabran ko mite eng kunetab kirwok chotok chekabwa eng county notok bo Singishu constituency notok bo Moiben aso kabit logoyat kot notok neki kiyae kirwogutik chotok chemengechen anan alternative justice system ko notok kamejawe kun soet Shadrack Mutai ko studio notok bo Kass TV kisubi chutak alak asikobit kibun eng tai ikamwaon kora ko nindojin igorita ko chief justice notok bo kapkirwok nebo emetab Kenya Martha Koome nito boto kandoik terter kirwok chotok chebo terter boto governor bo Singishu inendet ko Jonathan Bichel kunotok kongete komasta bo Moibet kakon soet studio notok bo Kass TV.
Kongoi kot missing Isaac Kogei miten komosta nebo Moiben en kotar noton nebo lumdaet noton nebo kapkirwok noton nebo alternative namuch keboisien kora kechengen imanit eng kasarta age tugul nekabit koimutik. Chitab kolenjin asome amut ngomungenen wach asikiweke ketestai ak tetutiet noton nebo Kass Mashinani.
Tueleza majina yake kamili na ametoka sehemu gani ya nchi yetu. Habari gani?
Salama.
Ningependa kujua majina yako na umetoka sehemu gani ya nchi yetu.
Naitwa Agustin Kipsongo Karap Cheruyo kutoka sehemu ya Nandi. Tena Uasin Gishu na Trans Nzoia.
Umekuwa ukicheza loto kwa siku ngapi ama miaka ngapi sasa?
Muda mrefu wake, lakini sichezi sana. Pengine once ama twice a week. Ndio ninacheza.
Na ukicheza unacheza na shilingi ngapi?
Kawaida ni kutoka 50, lakini kawaida siwezi kupita 200.
Umeshinda chochote kwa ule muda ambao umekuwa ukicheza loto?
Hii ni mara ya pili.
Mara ya pili?
Hii ni mara ya pili.
Congratulations. Mara ya kwanza ulipata nini?
Nilipata 1500. Karibu miaka 3 iliyopita.
1500 na leo hii tunasherehekea 1400. Wewe una ile nyota. Ushaisikia ukisema kuna nyota?
Well, ni luck ya mtu.
Luck kweli. Sababu tunasema
ya Mwenyezi Mungu, ukipata hiyo basi shukuru Mungu. Usipopata shukuru hata Mungu.
Utafanyia nini 1100?
Ngine nanunua kitu kama ng'ombe, alafu pegi kwa sababu natoka mahali ambayo pengine watu ambao wanaishi kwa pandulo tunapenda vitu kama ng'ombe, alafu kuwa nikiona nitakuwa nikifurahi.
Hii ng'ombe utaita aje? Hii ng'ombe ambayo utanunua nayo pesa ya loto.
Pengine nitaweza hata kuita loto.
Over 18s only. Gaming can be addictive. Play responsibly. This message has been approved by the BCLB.
Changamka, cheza loto. Mwezi huu wa Mei, changamka na StarTimes. Tunaleta joto na channels mpya na shows mpya kwa ajili yako. Chagua bouquet yako na uwe connected. Enjoy magic na adventure zaidi kwenye Kili Channel.
Oh man, this is gonna be awesome.
Ni sherehe zaidi kwa wapenzi wa sporti, wrestling, basketball na football.
A goal to send a message.
Lipia subscription yako uwe connected. Guswa hisia na drama na telenovela freshi, movie kali, documentaries, mziki na lifestyle channel. Changamka na StarTimes.
Let's get ready to
download StarTimes on app kwa burudani kemkem wakati wowote popote ulipo. StarTimes, furahia maisha kidijitali.
Buckle up and hold on tight as you blast off into a universe packed with out-of-this-world adventures. Wow! It's going to be a journey filled with fun and discovery.
Oh, he's adorable.
Search for the weird, wonderful, and all things wacky.
welcome to the future.
And find the superpowered strength you never knew you had. Heck yeah! So go wild. Tune in and let the thrilling adventures begin. There's always something to love on Go TV.
From different worlds, come a trio with a shared destiny.
Ikulinde na ikuongoze.
Where will the fashion runway take them?
Mimi nitachunga maua yetu vizuri sana hadi wewe narudi.
Family business is everything.
The beauty and the beats. Shanga, starting 25 April at 8 p.m. on Maisha Magic Plus.
Kitesetai chitab Kalenjin ak tetutiet noton nebo Kass Mashinani. Kakomuch komwa nebo ng'echeret en committee noton nebo budget en emoni ndinyoru kole wendi kusingwong makutik tugul chekoito biikab emet koityi committee inoton en chobet noton nebo budget noton kobun finance bill nebo kenyitab mung'aret nebo 2024-2025. Kamwa kole kakwautiet noton nebo kelipan chepkondok si konetik choton chenetisie en sukul choton chebo JSS kowendi kisuldoen kotiengei ak somet noton nebo konetik. Kakwautiet kora noton kokakeisto en tai chepkondok chetat keboisien kemuch kebaen lagok en sukulisiek kamwa kole wendi keboisien kora noton wendi kindo budget asikomuch kotestai tetutiet noton nebo kotestai kebai lagok chemiten en sukul. Kora ngobit en tai kang'ung'unyet kotiengei ak kakwautiet nekomwaat kele moche koisto serikali chepkondok chekiboisien en baetab lagok chemi sukul. Kokibwotyin kele imuch kwai noton kotestai kochore koitet noton nebo lagok chebendi sukul missing ko en komoswek cheyomyotin ak komoswek cheboto chemiten ngweny sobet anan korik choton chebo meng'atosiekab ngwony anan slums en emetab Kenya. Noton koib kakwautiet emetab amut komuch komwochi serikali kole wendi kisuldoen noton en konekit. Kotes komwa kole konetik choton chebo junior secondary schools JSS chekimoche kesiren boisiet chekomiten en contract nebo silingisiek 17,000 kebendi kekosyin magutikwak. Amoche keng'alal noton nekotestai en kwenutab committee noton nebo budget kondochin Ndindi Nyoro ak sirikab logoiwek.
Specific areas which we thought is very good that we clarify, because we have also seen those issues being of great for Kenyans. One, I want to assure the people of Kenya that the Budget and Appropriations Committee, in consultation with the entire led by the the Department for Education, and in consultation with the executive, there is an issue that has been very great concern to Kenyans about school feeding program. And I want to assure Kenyans that you have already considered so far monies that will be going into NACONEC to advance the cause of school-going children in areas that they need support in terms of food. And therefore, school feeding program is there. We have provided for the money, and it will continue uninterrupted. In the first phase, we will be proposing around 3 billion Kenya shillings, as also we look at the strengthening its supply chains so that we continue also to enhance that budget. So school feeding program is there, we are for it. Secondly, there are many of our brothers and sisters who are currently under internship in our JSS and others within the sector. I also want to clarify and make it very clear that the Budget and Appropriations Committee, again consulting with the relevant departments and Education Department in Parliament, that we have provided resources for the conversion of JSS interns into permanent and pensionable terms. We do this because they have already done a great job so far. Of course, with very little pay, it is only fair that we treat our brothers and sisters, current interns, in a manner that they have also treated our country with a lot of respect. And that is why we thought it is important that we consider the monies for the JSS. The other thing in the education sector, we'll be making amendments on the proposal that was submitted by the National Treasury, because you have also seen some gaps. But before I come to the gaps, it is also important, because I want to brief also members, other members can say something. Maybe the other thing before I come to the enhancement that we are going to do. This process has been running three very important processes. The supplementary estimates for 23-24 financial year, and the full year estimates consideration for the year 24-25. There is also another very critical process. We are appropriating money. We also consider that Kenya has devolved counties or devolved units, and therefore we also run concurrent with how much money is going to the counties, especially vertically, so that we also appropriate how much money is coming into the national government. And that process is enhanced through a process or a document called the Division of Revenue Bill. There has been conflicting figures proposed by various agencies, and I also want to make it very clear today that we have been able to do the mediation process. We concluded yesterday. This committee, the president, and all the other agencies involved, including the County of Governors, led by Governor Anne Waiguru, the Senate, we have come to a conclusion that we all must support devolution. And in that respect, we have done major changes in the Division of Revenue Bill, and therefore we have added the equitable share from the previous 375 billion Kenya shillings into the current figure, which will be proposing for approval, that the equitable share in Kenya in the year 24-25 will now be 400.1 billion Kenya shillings. This is unprecedented. That figure has never come close to that, and into showing that we are walking the talk in the support of action. We have devolved the equitable share of 400 billion, which means more services into the healthcare, more resources into agriculture, more resources into ECD, more resources into water distribution, and all the other devolved functions. And we'll continue doing more. We are doing more in the additional allocation to our counties, which are conditional, which we are also giving over 45 Kenya shillings in that regard. Maybe I want to also say this so that I give others an opportunity. The proposal before us from the National Treasury has been 3.14 trillion. This committee, after looking at the gaps that we needed to bridge, will be deciding on adding some extra monies into our expenditure. It's important that we communicate this to Kenyans, because some of what we saw, especially school feeding program, needs more resources, can't wait. And therefore this committee also thought it is important we add more money into that. We'll be adding more money into our universities for help. That is one, because all that money also finds its way to the universities. We'll be adding more money into infrastructure in our universities, which majority have stalled. We'll be adding more money into DUC model, maybe 5 billion shillings, so that the first years will be reporting in September. We will also have resources waiting for them. We'll also be proposing additional resources into the seed money, some of the funds we created through the new what is replacing NHIF. SHIF will be proposing additional resources into the seed funds for those. If you read that law, we are creating new entities. They need to be capitalized. We'll be adding more than 25 billion Kenya shillings into healthcare, so that we make healthcare accessible to all Kenyans. All this we are doing because we thought it is important we budget for this money other than later, because we need Kenyans to enjoy this utility as soon as possible. Otherwise, I want to thank you very much. The other thing I want to close with, we have done something that is also very exciting. Electricity is no longer a luxury in Kenya. It is also a way of making the ease of business, doing business more efficient, and also it is important in terms of our livelihoods. And the committee provided over and above the that is usually appointed in the end. We have have also and will be proposing for approval in the National Assembly an extra 14.5 billion Kenya shillings, money that will go into connectivity of electricity in all the 290 constituencies in Kenya. Because even as we approach resources, we are cognizant of the fact that equity is important. It is important that as we develop Kenya, we develop it from all the corners of our beloved country. And therefore, every constituency in Kenya will be getting extra 50 million work, which will be hiring more contractors in anticipation of that program that will definitely be. We have provided money because Kenya will only develop all Kenya is developing. So equalization fund has been provided for, and currently is actually now able. I remember the last time we met with this team, equalization fund was not functioning. It is now functional. We have added resources, and even the arrears of that 3 billion of the previous years will continue to provide for those monies in the coming year, so that we give equalization fund all the dues that are required. Very lastly, NGCDF, as you know, is a share of the revenue that we collect as a country, and therefore consequently every year goes up because of that. And in Kenya now, every constituency will be getting an average of 180 to 220 million shillings every year, because it is differentiated through the number of wards. That is why it is not possible to give the exact figure. Otherwise, we have aligned this budget to answer to the needs of Kenyans. We have answered this budget to respond to the economic growth that we are projecting. Na ndio hiyo mambo yote tumeweka, tukaweka mambo ya school feeding program. Hiyo itakuwa tukienda next year. Not next year. It will be uninterrupted. Let me rephrase that. Tumeweka pesa ya school feeding program. Itaendelea bila tatizo lolote. Kwa sababu wale watoto wote wanaenda shule, hata pahali ambao kuna shida ya chakula. Hao ni Wakenya wadosi wa kesho, na tunavyoangalia. Tumeangalia pesa ya stima, kila eneo bunge la Kenya litapata shilingi milioni 50 ya uenezi stima through a government agency called REREC. Tumeweka pesa pia ya kuanza universal health coverage. Will be proposing an additional expenditure ya 30 billion Kenya shillings, ambayo itaenda operationalize zile institution zinapeleka universal healthcare coverage efficiently. Na ya mwisho, haya mambo yote tunafanya ya kutengeneza budget ambayo itasaidia uchumi wetu kwenda mbele, na ambayo utasaidia Wakenya wote wajihisi ya kwamba wana participate kwa uchumi mbele. Na hiyo yote mkiangalia last year, utaona hii budget hii kamati ya bajeti ilitengeneza budget mzuri, na ndio maana uchumi wa Kenya in the year 2020 ulikuwa kwa 5.6%, ambayo ni kama 26th fastest growing economy. Hizi kazi tunafanya hapa ndio imefanya inflation ya Kenya. Inflation in Kenya now is at 5% in the month of April, and if you check the figures, it is very, very, very admirable. Ukiangalia pia exchange rate ya Kenya, shilingi sasa iko around 130 shillings. In this year alone, our local currency has gained 15% against the dollar, 18% against the pound, and 17% across all the regional currencies. Hiyo ni kuonyesha tunafanya ya uchumi inazaa matunda. Sasa wacha nipatie makalimu. Maswali tunaweza uliza baadaye mkitaka.
Yeah, thank you very much, our chairman.
went out there and we had public hearings in 20 counties in this. So we have another budget of 2 billion, which will be supporting projects proposed by the Kenyans in different 20 counties. All said and done, it has not been smooth sailing, gentlemen and ladies. As a committee, we will come across some challenges as we discuss the budget, and this is what will continue keeping us awake as a party. The chair said we'll be expected to pay 1.08 trillion.
Majina yake kamili na ametoka sehemu gani ya nchi yetu. Habari gani?
Salama.
Ningependa kujua majina yako na umetoka sehemu gani?